Good afternoon to the viewers of the live stream, whether you're watching live from the Doge studio or as a video after it's saved. Welcome to another live stream. The question of the day is the same as yesterday. Are we just going to go straight down, or are we going to get another rally? And I think the evidence is suggesting that another breakdown is possible. However, it must happen this week because failure to move lower in a timely manner will result in a relief rally. We cannot rule out the possibility that we're right here. We're about to go straight down. But this was complete in a week. May 29th, June 5th. This is June 27th, so July 5th, which is a week from today, should mark either the low or a higher low for a move to the upside. So as YouTubers famously say, this is a very big week because July is historically bullish, and if we're not bearish into the first week of July, we're probably going to be bullish, and we'll talk about that today. Welcome to another live stream. We got Jovan Woodley, Eat My Shorts, Winners Media, Richard Desmond, Crypto, Sleeper, Emperor Doge, Rising Sun, M-Harm, Bull Parade, Nikki B, Kilgonin. Welcome. The question here is, can we get another bounce? I don't think it's impossible. We're at 55.16. There was a relief rally both prior market cycles. What do we think? It looks to me like max pain is 74,000. But I don't know if we're going to get that high. I don't necessarily think we're going to get that high. Tough call, man. Oh, the Solana coins are bouncing. I see. I guess because Solana bounced. I guess that makes sense. And these charts are so shit. Remember the ZBCM people thought the top wasn't gonna be in, man? It's about to get real bearish. Even Doge is getting close to our freaking box, man. It's actually gonna happen. 5-cent Dogecoin is really about to happen. People didn't want to believe it, man. It's coming. Bounce around 57 to 71.4. That would be a nice stream for me, but I don't know. That might be too high. Stars are aligning for July 10th bottom. I don't know, man. I feel like if we're gonna go down, it should go down faster, you know? Like, this is so bearish. I mean, look at this thing. It's literally imploding in real time. So, I feel like if we were bearish, it would just go straight down. So, I feel like if we don't go down this week, it's not going down. I could be wrong about that. Of course, I could be wrong. That's just my opinion. I'm not underestimating the chance we go lower, but we are so bearish right now that we kind of got to go down because that's what happens. When you turn bearish, it just goes straight down. So if we go up this week, then I think the bottom is in. Then we're going down. Do I think the October is bottom 38K? Yeah, I think 34K is too low, but I also respect that Bitcoin goes lower than people think it does. So if the bottom ends up being 34K, then that's I don't think it's an outlandish statement. I think it's very possible. I personally think it could be too low, but at the end of the day, I'm not a TA guy, so if there's data that says 34K is possible, I think you have to respect it for sure. But from what I have, I do think 34K is a little low. I think 38 and 41 is more realistic. But there is evidence, I believe. I'm accounting for the wicks. Yeah, I am too. Bitcoin doesn't really bottom on big wicks like this. It almost never happens. Whenever you put a bottom in, the candles are pretty close together. So if the bottom of the wick ends up being 34,000, that's definitely possible. But even still, I feel like 34,000 is kind of low. It's not. That would have to be like the floor, you know? Like once you start talking numbers below 34,000, now it's getting a little bit too bearish. Because the last bear market was 77%. So anything more than 74, now you're getting too bear. Like we know for sure that it has to be smaller than this. So we cannot go below 27,000. Now, if we look at this and we say, okay, well, this was 84%, this is 77%. I don't know if there's a linear jump where it's just 7%. I don't think that's necessarily safe to assume. If we did, it would be 37,000. So if we give it a little bit more, the 74%, 34,000 is possible. Maybe it's a little bit less at 40,000, also possible. They're crashing the markets during the World Cup finals, so the herd will be distracted. I think we got confirmation that we're going down because Micron just had big earnings and the stock still didn't go up. That is exactly what happened in February with Nvidia, where Nvidia had good earnings and the stock still didn't go up. Like we just had two back to back. I mean, it's not even back to back. You got back to back to back to back good earnings and the stock is not moving. Nobody wants to pay for a 5 trillion valuation. So I think now you're seeing that where Micron is at oh, it's only at 1.3 trillion. Like, it's probably going to go higher, but I feel like it's time for one of these. Like, we haven't had one of these in over a year. Even a little one like this, like 25%. This one was 20%. If we got a 25 banger here, or like 30%, that should do it. Bearish propaganda. I like that Ethereum made a higher low. Reiserhausen is in the chat. Ryzen Scheisenrauser. Oh, we're sitting right on that capitulation line, man. If we go any lower than where we are right now, we're going down to the bottom. Look at this. You can just see how close we are to the end. Ethereum to 30K. I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know if I really can't say confidently that these coins are gonna go back up. I really can't. I don't know if Ethereum is gonna make a new all-time high. Because you gotta think about it. If they're gonna raise interest rates, then we're gonna have a shitty bull run again. Bobby for 5 says, damn it, Bobby. Could you chart Circle, please? I appreciate the 5 from Bobby. Circle. This is the USD coin, right? The USD stock. Yeah, it looks like it's getting accumulated, but I have to imagine that when Bitcoin goes down to the bottom, it should put the low in. I'm going to assume that a 40K Bitcoin should trigger a $33 circle. You can see the trend line is coming in there as well. You could get a $33 circle at the bear market bottom. You also just broke the 618 retracement, so that's also bearish. I would not buy Circle here. I would wait until the end of the year. I think Circle has a chance of coming lower. Now, if for whatever reason there's a scam rally, like this one, then the bottom is in again. Because then it'll come down and make a double bottom, and then it'll go up. But as currently constructed, the way the bear market is setting up, it looks like Circle is most likely going to at least come back to the low or even come down between 33 and 37. And that's where I would buy it. I probably won't buy it, but I mean, I don't know. What do you think? It could be worth a gamble if you get in at $37 and ride it all the way up to 300 to 300. Ryzen, you ride the Ryzen, the riser. But I would say bearish until the end of the year. Even if you get a rally, it should get rejected between 88 and 104. But I appreciate the 5, man. Dory says, am I happy? No, I'm not happy. I'm going to be happy if we rally back up to 70K. Doge is almost at 6 cents, man. I can't believe it's happening. I'll be happy if Bitcoin gets back to 70K. This guy says sold to 5K, man. Risers on the riser hopium. The hopiumhausen. He's way too bullish, man. Way too bullish. There's no guarantees these coins are going to go back up. Should we spend our time learning about AI or do we just buy SOXL? I really think that's the better play. Why didn't you short when we were at 80K? Because I have to do it a certain way. And the way that I'm doing it, which is why I want it to bounce so bad, is if we do bounce, it would be the same exact thing as shorting up here. That's why I want the bounce so bad. I want to just get in and then stop checking, you know? Like the people who shorted here, they made a lot of money, but if they didn't close and then it goes back up, it's like, ah, man. I want it to be where when I close it, that's it. The trend is no longer bearish. I don't like where it's maybe it goes up, maybe it goes down. But I'm also not a trader, so I wasn't looking for us to come down here and then go back up. I didn't know if we were going to sit here, if we were going to go up and then down. I'm not also a trader, so I wasn't expecting a quick move back down that fast. I didn't know how long it was going to take. I didn't know if it was going to be like slow, if it was going to go like this and then go down. I think a lot of people are underestimating the chance it goes like this and then goes down. But for me specifically, if we did get that rally, I would have the same exact return as if I shorted here. So I missed it, but I'm not upset about it. CT's acting like this isn't the worst cycle. Yeah, I don't even go on Twitter anymore. There's no point. There's nothing on there. It's all rubbish. I don't even go on YouTube either. I mean, I watch Ben Cowan, but that's kind of it. Everybody else is not worth the time, honestly. And I mean, no, that's not true. There's other YouTubers that are good too, but I think we're all looking at the same thing, you know? Like you have the bear tubers and you have the Moon Boys and then you have shillers and influencers. The reason why I don't watch bear tubers is because I'm also bearish. So they're telling me what I already know. You know? Like if there's a YouTuber that says we're going to 40K, I agree with him. So I'm not watching him I'm trying to see if there's legitimate claims that could go against that. The problem is you have every other guy saying we're going like this, which there's no mathematical, like there's nothing that says that. That's why I'm so confused as to why people keep saying that. Like even the people that are saying the bottom is in are saying we could go down again. But like if we can go down again, then the bottom's not in. You can't be saying we could go down again. Because if we could go down again, then we can go all the way down to the end of the year, which is where we're almost at. There's less than 120 days till the end. My only question is, I'm trying to see if there are people that are making arguments for another bounce and then a move down. Because that's what I want, personally. But just because I want something doesn't mean it's logical. I think people want it to go up, so they say it's bullish, and they only look for things that are bullish. I don't, and that's the biggest thing I cannot stress enough, because I was a culprit of that in the past, where I would only look for bullish indicators because I wanted it to be bullish. This entire bear market, I've been using neutral indicators. They're just bearish because we're in a bear. I mean, just look at the frickin' structure, man. When you're in a bull market, you get a bunch of green candles. When you're in a bear market, you get a bunch of red candles. That's it. You don't get this immense selling in a bull market. It doesn't exist. I'm trying to see, am I being too optimistic, or is there actually a chance we do bounce? And I think it's easier to be bearish because it is bearish. And I'm not being bullish because I think it's bullish because everyone's bearish. Everyone's bearish because it is bearish. But I'm just thinking to myself, could it be possible that we're right here and there is another spike? And that's why I like my heat map so much. And I also don't really have too much left to look at on YouTube because our heat map is telling us exactly where we are. There's only two options. You're either right here and we're about to go down to the low, or we're right here and we're about to bounce. Same month, June, same candles, black. Same month, June, same candles, black. Same month, June, same candles, black. The location of the candles right on top of the realized price. Location of the candles right on top of the realized price. There's only two options here. We're down here in 2 weeks, or we're where we are. Which if we're in the same exact spot in 2 weeks, then we're probably not going down until August and September. Which to some people it doesn't matter, and I guess if you're just buying and selling spot and hodling, as they say, it doesn't matter, but that's not what I'm doing, so it does matter to me. If Clarity gets enough yes votes, brother, the Clarity Act is like, I don't even know what that is, but I know it's propaganda, so I'm just gonna not engage. I hope you succeed, man, with the Clarity Act. You guys have been saying that shit in my chat for 8 months now, the Clarity Act. What's the word? A psyop. That's what I used. It's not propaganda, it's a psyop. These big YouTubers are telling you about the Clarity Act, so you keep watching them, and then they pull the rug, and that's it. Clarity Act is a psyop. We have to go past the bias. That's what I'm saying. The reason I'm biased to the downside is because every single indicator that's neutral says we're going down. I'm looking for bullish indicators. I'm truly looking for bullish indicators. I just don't see any. Again, we already debunked, which I don't know why the big YouTubers that are pushing this chart don't take a step further and look at it. I guess because they're already millionaires, so they don't care. But I'm not a millionaire, so I do care. And they're refusing to acknowledge the math behind why this chart is wrong. The distances between the all-time highs are getting smaller, which means if you're buying closer to the previous all-time high, you go into the red faster. That's why the supply and loss is higher than it was in 2022, but we're only down 50%. Because if you bought in here a year before the top, you're already underwater. If you bought in a year before the top in 2021, you took the entire bear market to go underwater. Same thing in 2017. If you bought in September of 2018, 2017, it took an entire year for you to go underwater, which is why the supply and loss was so low. We're already there because if you bought a year before the top, you're already underwater. So the big YouTubers are doing their viewers a disservice by saying that this is marking the bottom because it did the last two times, but they're ignoring that the tops are getting closer together. So by default, if you buy close to the all-time high, you're going to go underwater faster. This is the only chart that people are saying is saying the bottom is in, but it's wrong. Because if it's not wrong and the bottom is already in, then that means by default, this is the smallest bear market that we've ever seen. And the jump from 77% to 53% means that the next jump for the next bear market is going to be 53% to 30%, which is absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Bitcoin is very, very analytical. It loves patterns. It loves numbers. Unfortunately, I've never been able to crack the code, but we've learned a lot over time. And I highly doubt that we're going to go from 77% down to 53%. And then the next bear market is going to be 30%. Come on, man. What are you doing? What are you doing, man? It allows regulation. That means enterprise can adopt blockchain. Again, man, I don't know what to say. I wish you the best. We got Meowasis says Clarity Act isn't so clear, bro. Clarity Act isn't so clear. Well, you know what is clear? We're at the very tail end of the bear market. You love it. I love it. We're at the tail end of the bear market. It's a very exciting time. Dreams will get another opportunity to come true. We broke the 2-month super trend, 426 days from the top. We broke the 4-month super trend, 365 days from the top. Broke the 4-month super trend, 180 days from the top. Right now, we're at 242. Blue 42, say hut. We're 242. 242, say hut. So, we're in the middle. We're in the middle of 365 and 181. We could break down right now. If not right now, it'll be in 2 months, which will be 300 days. That's what I'm hoping for. And the fact that you got 365, 365, and 426. If we move it to 365, it's September. If we move it to 426, it's November. Chat, you got a shot. Listen, you got a real shot at a bottom after Labor Day. It's almost like telling you 426, 365, the bottom is either in November or October. That's it. You got a shot at a bottom. The herd says we're bullish, and after the herd says we're going higher, then you got a shot at a bottom. The only question in my mind, and look, you could put oil on here too. I mean, look at this. Everything says we're going down, gentlemen. I can't even slightly entertain the bullish propaganda. Not even in the slightest. I entertained the bullish propaganda back in March and April because you had the stock market going vertical. Now you got nothing. And I didn't even entertain it. I just said it so the Moon Boys will be happy. I can't even make the Moon Boys happy now. Everything says death is looming. Like Dr. Loomis. You guys are too young to know who Dr. Loomis is. But Dr. Loomis is in the background right now watching us. The price of oil is collapsing. The S&P is consolidating. This is a bear's dream. It's just, this is it. Will we get a bounce or are we just going straight down? And I really think we can only tap this level so many times before it bounces. But at the same time, we're getting to that point where it has to go down or it's not going down. And we could do this. I'm going to be heartbroken if it happens, but I'm not going to question why is it happening. We're looking for this. It's just, is it now or is it in 2 months? That's all it is. That's really all it is. Is it now or is it in 2 months? It's that simple. Then we would get something like this. Probably. Then we'd go down to the bottom. Is there any crypto ETFs that have MSTR? I don't know. I think we got to start preparing though. I think in July I'm going to resume building my bull market playbook. The only reason I'm stopping is because I'm not 100% sure if, I mean, yeah, we have to come down. It has to come down. And you look at this too, this memory ETF. Someone in the chat has this DRAM. Maybe this will be a good play too. Are we going in on the AI stocks, chat? What are we doing, chat? Chat. Do people still say chat? I might be too old to say chat. Am I too old to say chat? What are those? What is everybody else buying? Actually, I guess I should check what are the market caps. SNDK, WDC. Oh wow, this is only at 300 billion. And the other one is WDC and STX. 200 billion. Yeah, this Seagate. Yeah, wow, these are still cheap. I actually think here. Yeah, you know what? Hear me out. I actually think if we get that COVID crash, this ETF might be a good play. Someone in the chat has this. Man, if we can get this freaking COVID crash, what do you guys think? This is essentially the AI ETF. Is it not? You got SanDisk, Western Digital, Seagate, and Micron. That's like the memory names. Higher Low says, I'm worried you're going to miss the train. Trust me, my man. I appreciate the concern. I'll be all right. Thank you for your concern. All right, here we go. I have to assume if we don't go down this week, we're not going down. And if we do go down this week, then so be it. I'm going to be really upset if it goes down, but I'll be all right. I'm really not, honestly. I'm not going to be upset. If anything, if we go down now, we know with certainty that the bounce is fake. So I'm not looking at it from a binary perspective. I'll adapt either way. If we go down now, that's fine. The next bounce will be the last. If we go up now, then this is the last bounce. That's how I look at it. So I'm prepared for both scenarios, honestly. No worries. I am prepared for both scenarios. I predict Vision buys in at 50K after he misses the bottom. I predict that your net worth is going to get slashed in half, and then you're going to leave my YouTube channel. That's my prediction. We will not remember higher lows in 4 months. The problem with the Roaring Kitty thing is he already came back and nothing happened. The problem with Roaring Kitty is he came back and the stock is in the same spot. This GameStop thing was a one-time thing, unfortunately. This is a big, big week. There's really nothing left to talk about, right? Every pump, the guy doubles token supplies. For what? My question is, if it does go down, what is the move gonna do? If we really get this, That's gonna suck. I guess it would be like this, right? And the bottom is in July and then we bounce. Yeah, but I would live with that because you'd still get a big bounce in the summer. And this is still a monster move down. Look at that shit. I would live with this. The problem is it's got to happen now because the bottom is projected to be here. So we got to go down right now, literally. Which maybe that's about to happen. But if it does happen, you would still get a big relief rally. And that's where I would do something. Yeah, Recful, you don't have to copy and paste. I understand that Ben Cowan is a respectable YouTuber, but he's not God. I think most people are all in the same camp. The bottom is at the end of the year. It's just, can we get a bounce? That's no one knows the answer to that. That's why I'm just trying to see what is it possible that we do bounce. And I feel like if we don't go down by the end of the year, sorry, if we don't go down this week, we're not going down. Which I already said that 2 weeks ago. So I'm starting to think, you know, again, I'm not, if I were confident that we were going to bounce, I would have a position. I don't have anything because it's very tough to be bullish when this is staring you in the face. Like you'd have to be an asshole to say that we're bullish right now. But it's not impossible. Sorry. No, man, you don't have to say sorry, Recful. It's just you copy and pasted the same message twice, which means if I didn't address it, you would have said it a third time. Yes, Mr. Cowan says there's one more rally left, but he doesn't know where the bottom is either as far as this move, right? Nobody knows, that's the whole point. People know, they're just not on YouTube. They're on the beach somewhere. The question is, can we get the question isn't, are we going to bounce? The question is, are we going to bounce now? Just like the question isn't, are we going to 50K? The question is, are we going to 50K now? And Mr. Cowan doesn't know either. Not that it's a bad thing, it's impossible to predict the market to the T. But we can heavily infer that the next bounce, regardless of where it is the last bounce. Ben Cowan is bullish in July. He's your only hope right now. Nah, at the end of the day, if we go down now, it's fine. I have a plan for both scenarios. I would just prefer if we bounced because it's very, 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 very rare that the market gives you its hand before it plays the cards. It happened here, and that's why I was able to make a little bit of change. Maybe I'm stupid, it's possible, but I'm not 1,000% sold that this is the outcome. I understand the argument, and it's a legitimate claim, and I do think this is very possible, but I'm not that good of a trader, so I have to be 100% sure. And because there's doubt that this could happen, I can't do anything. I mean, I should put something in, but it is what it is. We've already been down here for 30 days, so when is it supposed to go down? You know? If it doesn't go down now, when is it supposed to go down? I think it goes down like this. And that's why I'm getting excited, because there is not much time left. There's 100 days left. Look, we basically have to sit through this almost, and then we're bullish. Full moon tomorrow. Yeah, I would say this week, if we don't go down, I really don't think we're going down. I'm not going to start looking at the moon phases because I know you guys think that shit's a joke, but I don't fully understand it, but I do respect it. Like the fact that it's always bearish, you know, like it's always bearish when we get a full moon, man. Yo, it's literally always bearish. Sometimes it's not bearish, but I mean, look at this shit, man. This one was bullish. So it's like, if we're not going down this week, I don't think we're going down. Because I also noticed, I don't know if it has to do with the full moon, but we already talked about this. For some reason, the first half of the month is bearish. Not the first half of the month, like the first week of the month, or I guess the proper way to say it would be the last week of the month and then the first week of the next month. That seems to be where we keep reversing. The first week of April, we went up. The first week of May, we went up. Like you're putting in some type of bottom. It doesn't work every single time, but you're putting in some type of bottom most of the time in the first week of the month. It happened here, February 7th. It happened here, March 8th. It happened here, April 1st. It didn't happen in May, but you pulled back. And then once you get into the later part of the month, it turns bearish. We just did it again. We bottomed in the first week of the month. We were bullish, and then the back end of the month is bearish again. So because the 1st of July is next week, I have to respect that I don't know, but I have to also be open to the fact that this could happen. But based on the trend, I have to assume if it doesn't happen now, we're going to get a bounce, and then it'll happen in the following month. But the reason why I get so excited, even though you guys might not agree, is because there's no more time left. So it's like, dude, if we got this, you know, with your soul on the line, no, I'm just kidding, that it's bearish. We don't know with certainty that it's going all the way down to 40,000. That's my point. But you know with certainty that from here, it is going all the way down to 40,000. Maybe it's not 40,000. You get the idea, though. Maybe it's 45. Maybe it's 47. Maybe it's 37. I'm not a good trader. I'm aware of that. But I like taking positions when I'm 1,000% sure we're going down. I knew it was bearish here, but I didn't do anything. Well, I went on vacation up here. Not that that's an excuse. But I didn't think we were going to go down like this fast. right? I knew it was bearish, but I didn't know it was going to go straight down like that. That's I have no issue admitting that. So I didn't do anything. Just like right now, I'm openly telling you, I don't know if it's going to go straight down. We know it has to go down. So because I'm not that good of a trader, I only like taking positions when I'm 100% sure. But the thing is, some of you guys trade every single direction that you get chopped up more than you make money. I haven't gotten chopped up. This is the first bear market I never got chopped up. So, I mean, I got chopped up a little bit here, but that was just giving back profit from what I made. What I'm waiting for is that holy grail of no matter what you do, the price has to go down. And for me, anything after August, that's what it is. We have to go down. By the laws of physics, bound by space and time. That's the word I was looking for. A couple months ago, I was trying to say bound by something. It's bound by space and time. We must go down here. So, if we do crash all the way down here, it's going to suck, but I'll live. Because this can't be the bottom. It has to bounce. And then wherever that ends up stopping, that's the bottom. You know? But here's the thing, like someone said in the chat yesterday, if we go down and then bounce, everyone's going to say this is the bottom. Even Mr. Cowan, since there's a lot of Mr. Cowan moon boys in the chat, even Mr. Cowan says if we went to 40K, he would pivot and say the bottom is here. But we already tried that last time. And we still put in a lower low. So I'm prepared for either. Mentally, physically, I don't actually have a plan for this. But I'll make one. I think we could keep it simple, though. We're just going to use the same moving average. We got to come back to the short-term holders. So if we really did just go down like this moving average would really start to capitulate. We'd probably get a relief rally back to it, and then we would go down to the bottom. I think if we went down now, that's better for the bull market because you could start your accumulation earlier, but we already talked about that. Every market cycle, you enter accumulation once you fall below the realized price. That accumulation dictates where the bull market is. In 2018, we sat down here for months from the bear market low. In 2022, we put the bear market low in November, and by February, we were going up. That's because we already spent all this time down here. We're still above the realized price, so we can't go up until we spend months down here. But that's also why I'm not letting my bias get in the way or what I prefer. But what I would prefer, because I'm greedy, is I would love to see us bounce. Even if we go down to 53K first and then bounce, that's fine. And then we go down at the end, because then Bitcoin has to sit here for months. And in that accumulation, the S&P 500 will be doing some type of V recovery. So in theory, you'd be able to rotate. You get into stocks, get a little bit of juice, and then rotate into Bitcoin. That would be the greed play. But we already talked about that. That's what I'm saying. Like, mentally, I'm prepared. I just don't have a physical plan for the bearish scenario where we just go straight down right now. But, like, this is what I'm talking about, Chubbs. If you bought the semiconductors, you gotta look at that shit. Look at this dude. you got a full look at this dude. You got a full 2x before Bitcoin even moved. Bitcoin went down, and you got a 2x. I'm team semiconductors, man. Look at this dude. Yeah, I'm team semiconductors. Dude, this thing did a full-blown... Yeah, here it is again. You did a 2x. Look. You did a 2x before Bitcoin even moved. I'm on team semiconductor. This one Bitcoin was better because it bottomed earlier. But I think these days are over for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not the asset that it once was. It's just not. It's not. And anybody who disagrees is more than okay to disagree. You're disagreeing with the facts. What does Steve say? The facts and the charts? I mean, you could probably even use the QQQ. Bitcoin is about to be the inferior asset to the NASDAQ. I'm making the prediction that the NASDAQ is going to outperform Bitcoin this market cycle. It sounds dumb to say, but I don't know. You almost didn't make a new all-time high. You might make a freaking lower high next time. Look at that. Look at this shit. Now, if you're buying the absolute bottom for Bitcoin, then I guess technically it's always going to outperform. But, well, technically that's not true either, because at some point it's not. But look at the return. Yeah, no, I don't know. Look at the returns. It went from 800% to 200% or 300%. All right, so yeah, never mind. We should come down one more time and then get a lower high, which technically you'd still outperform the NASDAQ. I don't know. Maybe it is a lower high. What do you guys think? It might be a lower high. So technically, yeah, if you're going to keep buying the bottom, which is difficult, you'll outperform the NASDAQ. But if you're going to buy in and hold, I would rather hold the NASDAQ than this piece of shit. The proof is in the pudding. The peaks are getting closer together, and I actually am willing to make the case that this bull market could be a lower high. So the Bitcoin bubble has popped. It sucks. The bear market started in January of 2025. No, the bear market starts when the price does not make a new all-time high. Even though we were looking for the top to be in Q1 of 2025, it was invalid. The top was in Q4. There's no denying the top was in Q4. The metrics say this was the top, but they also say that this was the top. They can't both be the top. There's only one top. So that's what makes this next capitulation so bad. Because I know everyone always says everyone's bullish or everyone's bearish, but it's just not true. There's still a lot of people that don't respect that we're very heavily probabated. I'm making up words now. We're heavily probabated bubble boy to come down here. And this time around, you do have big YouTubers pushing this. Oh, sorry, pushing this. I'm not going to name any names, but there is a specific YouTuber that says this is possible. And people are following him. So, good luck. Super chat. Riser for 2 says Sol 122, ETH 75K. You are welcome. This guy's smoking opium. This guy is smoking opium, man. I would be shocked if Ethereum got over 10. I would be shocked if Ethereum got over 10K ever. The only bullish hopium I would give you is this. This would have to be 5 years of accumulation, just like Intel. We would come down for the final low. and then we would get the big bull run. That's the only hopium there is. But if it doesn't happen in this market cycle, it's not happening ever. But I'm also respecting the reality of why does Ethereum have to go up? Why do these shitcoins have to go up? When you ask yourself that question, it becomes much easier to not look at this. It sounds stupid. Why are you saying Ethereum can't go up? We just saw it happen. What do you mean, why am I saying that? We don't even know if this is going to hold. I'm telling you, man, a lot of people are thinking we're not going down there. Dude, I've seen it happen time and time again. It's like, it gets so bearish, your stomach goes through your ass. It's like, what the hell is going on? We haven't hit that yet. And the fact that it's already down here, like, look at it this way. Look at this dude. Look at it this way. Look at this dude. If we're expecting Bitcoin to go to 40,000, that's another 32% from here. 32% from today for Ethereum is $1,000. That puts you back at the low. Now, this is assuming that ETH-BTC stays the same, which you can see since the bear market started, that has not been the case. ETH-BTC has been going lower. So if you're an ETH moon boy, if we get this at any time, Ethereum is going to break the low. Which is where you'd have to watch your favorite YouTuber Ben Cowan, because I don't look at ETH-BTC. But if ETH-BTC moves down at all, Ethereum is going to break the low. And if Ethereum breaks the low, I can't tell you it's going to 10,000. Why does it have to go up? So you'd have to watch Mr. Cowan or whoever you watch, and they'll have to tell you that ETH-BTC is going to rally. Now, if ETH-BTC rallies like it did in 2018, or sorry, in 2022, then you avoid that from happening. So if you get this, then ETH won't break the low. But if you get anything other than this, then ETH is going to break the low. Well, it doesn't have to be that big. It could be small too. But look at it from this perspective. If Bitcoin's going to fall by 40% and ETH-BTC falls by 20%, now you're going to take 20% from this. Now you're at $850, my brother in Christ. It's done. If ETH goes to $850, it's done. You just saw a McDonald's logo on a 5-year distribution. This is literally a giant McDonald's logo. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. The herd says ETH is a supercomputer. Oh, that's what they used to call it, a supercomputer. You guys weren't around for that. Maybe some of you were. Remember ETH was a supercomputer? And then they came out with ICP, which is the internet computer. It's all rubbish, man. All going to zero. But I appreciate the 2 from Riser. The thing that's sad about Ethereum, too, is they even have ETH ETFs. So it's like, you would think that it would go up. But you guys got to remember that Wall Street is in the game now. They make money in both directions. They can short this shit just as easily. This is what the frickin' scammers wanted. Oh, we want Wall Street and we want BlackRock to get in. Now they're in. Now crypto sucks. That's what life is. Every time you discover something, keep your mouth shut. As soon as you start showing everyone, that's it. All these grifters wanted BlackRock and they wanted the ETFs, and now we got them. And now crypto sucks. That's why when you find something, just keep it to yourself. Everyone wants to buy MSTR. I'm nervous. I'm going to buy it too, probably. But I'm nervous that it's going to do a retracement. You know? Like, what if it goes to 40 bucks and then it does a retracement back to 200 and then that's it? Now everybody wants in. What if this is the next MSTR? I don't know. Yeah. We got higher lows for 20, man. I appreciate that a lot, dude. Pocket watch alert. I have 100 shares of MSTR at 82.50. I'll hold it until 2029. Price 500. $40,000 profit. I don't care if it drops in half. It's less than 5% of my cash holding. MSTR is 85% from the all-time high. I appreciate the 20, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, at this price point, like $80, that's what I was saying the other day. If you're dipping your toe in now, it's not horrible. Like, I get it. I can't even say that it's the worst idea, because it's not. If it's only 5% of if you're only putting in 5% of your money, I can't really say that's a bad idea. I'm just saying, don't assume it has to go back to the all-time high. That's all. I would like to think it would, but they're diluting it so much that just to get back to this market cap, the price is going to go much lower. But if you're only adding 5% and you just add 5% every time it goes down $10, that's probably a winning strategy, I would say. Not that my opinion matters, but I can't really say that that's the worst idea. I've had worse ideas, trust me. But I wouldn't put in a lot of money here because I still think there's a large move down coming. The reason why I'm not doing that is because I don't even know if I'm buying MSTR. MSTR is my worst case scenario. I really think I'm going to be a stock guy. I really do. I can smell it. I'm sick of checking every 5 seconds. Oh, is my coin going to zero? You know? But I appreciate the 20, man. Yeah, I think your plan is not terrible. It's not bad. Like, it's good. If you're adding 5% every time it falls $10, and then by the end of the year you're all in, that's a solid plan. Not financial advice, of course. But I appreciate the 20, man. It helps out a lot in times of despair. If you're looking for contrary views, why won't you be open to the 2025 can be the high? It was not a far-fetched theory, and for the record, I am not an Elliott Wave fanboy either. Yes, so the reason why January 2025 was not the top is because the top is where the price does not go any higher. We went higher. Every metric that you can look at to say that this was the top also said that this was the top. But the bottom was still here. So the bottom will still be here. I understand what you're saying because I had that exact theory last time and it was wrong. So if it was wrong here, it's going to be wrong again. And the reason why it's wrong again is because we just made another lower low. We can't be bullish every time the bottom falls out. It's a recipe for disaster. So anyone that says that this was the top, I believe is wrong because I said that this was the top and I was wrong. And we made that mistake last time by saying this was the top, so this is the bottom, and the bottom fell out. And right on schedule, the 4-year cycle started. I don't understand why people want to fade the 4-year cycle so much. I did it when I was younger because I was young and impatient. But because I was young and impatient and all of these YouTubers were already older than me and on YouTube already, they're already older than me, which means they've been here longer than me. The fact that they've been here longer than me and they're still fading the truth, I don't know why they're doing that. I don't know the incentive. I did it last time because I didn't believe it. There was only 2 market cycles. Now we have 3. And I respect the fact that there were YouTubers who called the top before the top came. You have to respect their calls. And because they were able to do that, that means the 4-year cycle is still here. And if the top is where it's supposed to be, then there's a really good chance the bottom is where it's supposed to be. And we know the bottom is where it's supposed to be because we just made another lower low. And we know we're going down there because Michael Saylor is getting sent into the shadow realm like Joey Wheeler. That's what you guys don't even know who that is. They're telling you before we're going down that we're going down. This does not happen when we're bullish. It doesn't. And the same thing happened in 2017 with Riot. Riot was going down harder than Bitcoin was. And then we bounced. And then we went down again. So I'm hoping, which by the way, for those of you that are wondering why Riot's not going down and why Mara is not going down, they're no longer Bitcoin stocks. They're AI data centers. Sorry. Data processing services. So they're no longer Bitcoin stocks. Thanks for expressing your views and communicating it in a coherent way. No problem, man. I understand what you're saying, and the reason why I disagree is because that's exactly what I said. And the only reason, and I'll take it a step further, the only reason why I think we could get a bounce is because I thought the top was here. And that's my point. If we went down here, we were supposed to go down here, but the 4-year cycle said no. So when we went up, that's when I accepted the 4-year cycle as king. And the only reason I think we can go up is because we went down here. And that's why I want it to go up so bad. Because if we go up, it would be the same thing as this, but it's in the other direction. Because the 4-year cycle says the top was here, and the 4-year cycle says the bottom was here. So because we were here and the top is here, we had no choice but to go straight up. If we're up here and the bottom is here, we have no choice but to go straight down. And if we're going to go straight down, that's where all the money is. When Bitcoin has a direction and it goes there violently, that's where we make all the money. I had no money back here, and by here I was greedy and fat and everything that the Bible says not to be, because we went straight up. If we're still at 70K and we're supposed to get down to 40K, I'm going to get fat and greedy and everything that the Bible says I shouldn't be, because we're going straight down. It's almost like alt season to the downside. That's how I would describe it. And the fact that people are still bullish, it's like when people are here are still bearish. There were still YouTubers saying we had to come back down again. I don't know. I think Mr. Cowan was one of them. We have to come back down again because that's what happened last time. So we're getting to that point where if we do go up, you'll have the people that say super cycle, bottoms in, which means it's different this time. But because we topped here, it's mathematically impossible to be different this time, which means we have to go from 70,000 all the way down to 40,000 in 2 months, which is nasty. But the reality is, every time we go down, people say the bottom is in. And I get it, because I did that last time. I don't shy away from my shit calls. I was bullish the whole way down. But the reason why I don't care is because even like that guy said I'm going to miss the bottom, I had no money here. I was literally poor. and somehow I clicked my buttons and I had so much money. I had my dream money, but I gave it back because I'm greedy and I didn't have a plan. So even if I miss the bottom, it doesn't matter because it's not about, and that's my obsession now. And I've been open about this. I'm not obsessing where the bottom is or what the price is. I'm obsessing over capturing this move. If you can capture this move, forget about everything that you know. If you can capture this move, your life will change. You don't have to listen to the rubbish on YouTube. Oh, if you don't buy the bottom, you're going to be broke. If you don't sell the top, you're going to be poor. You need to capture this. Because if you can capture this, that's where the money is. You can put any shitcoin on the chart. Just think of a random shitcoin. What's a shitcoin that was around in both market cycles? You could say Doge, but Doge made a lower high. It's tough. I can't even think of one. I can't use... Oh, yes, I can use Solana, actually. Look at Solana. The thing that's scary is, and that's why crypto sucks, I can't even think of a shitcoin because in 2025, the shitcoins didn't even go up. That's my biggest fear, is buying a shitcoin that doesn't go up. Does anybody know what exchange Solana was on? I can't find it. I assumed it would be Binance, but it's not there. Oh, yes, it is. Look at this dude. If you can find the volatile rally to the high, look at that shit. Look at this dude. I had this shit drawn before I even showed it to you on Solana. If you can find a rally back to the all-time high, you can change your life. That's what we're trying to do. It's just right now, I'm trying to find this. Because this is also life-changing opportunity if you make the right decision. That's why I'm so obsessed with it. Some people don't care. They just want to buy in at the bottom, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I understand now that there's money in both directions, and if you can find this, you can change your life. So even though the 4-year cycle says the top is here, it doesn't matter because you should have been long gone by then. That's why if we can locate this, which I think we will because we did it the first time, I actually think we can make it out of here. Because if you put MSTR on the chart, you get the same exact answer. That's why I don't really obsess with the exact bottom, because to me, it doesn't matter. But I'm not a TA guy, so obviously if you're a TA guy, you want to tell your viewers where the bottom is. I'm not a TA guy. But you can see that's where MSTR went vertical, which is the maroon. It happened again in 2023. That's where MSTR went vertical. The problem is now MSTR is going vertical to the downside, which means the expectation is Bitcoin is also about to go vertical to the downside. But are we assuming it's going to go vertical to the downside because that's what happened in 2022? Or are we bearish? That's what I'm asking myself. Because in 2018, the shitcoins did go down, but Bitcoin didn't. And that's why all this is tied together, because the top in Q1 was what I was looking for, but the top wasn't in Q1. But just because the top isn't in Q1 doesn't mean you shouldn't have gotten out in Q1, because if you've gotten out in Q1, you sold the top for Ethereum and Solana. So technically, some people might be buying in now thinking, oh, well, last time the bottom was in early, so that means it'll be in early this time. You can't say that because Bitcoin was down 75% already. We're only down 50% right now. You cannot ignore this. The reason why you can't ignore it is because, like I said before, Bitcoin is very analytical and very pattern repeating, which means there has to be a reason why it went from 73% to 52%, and the following market cycle will have to repeat that pattern. And that's impossible. You can't go 50% and then 30, like that's impossible. A 30% bear market, nah. And then you think Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million? It's impossible. What makes more sense is the bottom's not in, the 4-year cycle repeats. Now we're down at 35, 37, 40,000, whatever it is. You have to ask your favorite YouTuber. And then you get diminished returns back to the upside. And then because the bear market is shrinking, maybe the next bear market is only 62%. Now we're at 54K. But I've tried my best in 2023 to disprove the 4-year cycle. And even though my own theory would have been correct for my life because it told me to get out in Q1 and Q4 of 2024, even though that wasn't the market cycle peak, I still should have followed it. The 4-year cycle remains dominant, and I've learned to respect it. And some people are still fading it, and I understand why, because they don't want to wait. But they don't understand that if you're wrong, you'll lose everything if you don't manage your risk. And a lot of people aren't doing that. They're just saying, that's it, the bottom is in, and they're just going to get baptized into the 5th dimension. And because I've been baptized so many times, I'm not fading a chart that says we're going down. Every single metric says we're going lower. It's just when. When are we going lower? And the reason why I'm so obsessed with it is because I don't really care where the bottom is exactly. I care about the path to the bottom. Just like I didn't know where the top was exactly, but the money was already made. So what I learned from the bull market is you don't sell at the top. You sell when you got a lot of money. Because when you got a lot of money and you're not usually having a lot of money, it's usually the top. Because this was the market cycle top, but how many coins topped here? Doge, Pepe, Solana. You know, Ethereum freaking topped in August. So I'm trying to find this. And the reason why I'm so obsessed with this bounce, even though I respect the probability that we don't get it, the reason why I'm so obsessed with it is because if we do get it, the capitulation will actually match up with the bear market bottom. In 2022, that didn't happen. The bottom was here and the bounce was in the summer. In the beginning of the year, I was hoping we were going to get this, where the capitulation would be in the spring. That's why I kept saying in the winter that the low should be in April. Then we would bounce, and then the bottom's in October, November, December. But the low was in February. The thing is, though, now people are assuming we have to go down because that's what happened in 2022. And I understand. I understand. It's a legitimate claim. And MSTR is literally telling you that that's about to happen. But does it have to happen? I don't think it necessarily has to happen. There's nothing that says we have to go down right now. I actually think there's a chart that says we have to go up soon, not right now. But I would be shocked if we don't have upwards price action into August. I really would be shocked. That doesn't mean we can't go like this, but you're running out of time for this. It made more sense in the beginning of the month because we would have just went straight down and then bounced into June and July. Now it's July. This doesn't make as much sense as it once did. But that's why I'm so happy at this market cycle where I always admit I don't know because I don't have any pressure. Like, I'm not telling you guys, I know for certain we're going up, get in. There's nothing that's for certain except coming down here, in my opinion. But here's the thing, since I don't have a position, if it does bounce, now you have even, it's not just going to go like this either. That's asshole talk. It's going to take forever. But now time is on our side because the longer we sit here twiddling our thumbs, as they say, or as I would say, put a thumb in your ass, that's more juice for us to go straight down because the bottom has to be here. Does that make sense? And because you make more money when the market goes down or up more violently, you want the move to be bigger and more volatile. Just like in 2023, I'm sure most of you made a lot of money here. That's where I made all my money because it was quick. In 2020, it was even bigger. This was nuts. Even though I got scammed because I bought Litecoin. I don't even know what I bought. Oh, no, I bought Cosmos. I got scammed. Rip. I bought freaking Cosmos. But this was nuts. Even though this wasn't the top, you still should have gotten out. But we got a second chance. And the thing is, we assumed because we got a second chance here, we were going to get a second chance here, and we didn't. So we cannot assume that just because it happened last time means it has to happen again, but you could speculate that something similar will happen, which is why I can't necessarily assume that this has to happen now just because it happened last time. Because the time before that, you got stuck and then you went down. So personally, I've checked everything. Everything I see says we are going lower. It's just we got to start going down this week if it's going to go down now. Because if we're still here by the end of the week, I mean, now it's going to be July. What week are we in? Yeah, I mean, dude, by next Tuesday, it's going to be July 7th. If we're still here, I'm going to assume we're going up. And then we're going down. And I could start assuming this is going to happen because now it's freaking August. And like we said before, I don't know what the reason is. Maybe you guys do. I know some of you guys are very in tune with the market as far as options expiration. I know Peasant does that with the witching or whatever it is. Whatever the reasoning is, I don't know. Whether it's the full moon, some people like the full moon. I like the moon phases. I don't understand them, so I don't push them on you, but they're interesting to look at. Whatever the reason is, I don't know, but for some reason, we always put the low in at the end of the month and in the first week of the month. And because it's literally the end, oh, there is a full moon here. Because oh my God, imagine the bottom is in already. Dude, that wasn't there before. Because there's that chance that the low seems to form in the first week of the new month, I have to respect that we could go lower from here. But I'm also going to respect that if it doesn't go lower now, you're probably going to bounce again. I don't know what it is. Maybe you guys think I'm crazy, but for some reason, the low tends to be, it's not always that way, but you're always bearish into the first week of the month. We turn bullish after January 1st. Here we turn bullish after February 6th. Here you turn bullish after April 1st. This one was bullish, but it was technically bearish because it was the top. But after April 1st, we went up again. Sorry, May 1st. Here it is again. You got June 3rd. Now, is it a coincidence because it's the full moon, or do they actually use the moon? I'm not going to push that propaganda on you because I don't have enough evidence to back it up. But the first of the month is coming. So if the trend has been, and I don't know why it is, we keep turning bullish after the first 2 weeks, in the first week of the month, we probably have to go down this week. I think if we go down this week, you're fine. Like the trend has continued. You keep putting in a bottom in the first week of the month. But if we're still here by the end of the first week of the month, I'm going to assume we're going to get the rally. Now, it's not always that way. Sometimes the first of the month is bearish. Like you can see here in October, you crashed into the first week of the month, then you got a bounce, but then you went down anyway. So it's not set in stone. Here it is again, of September 1st, we're bullish, and then at the end of the month, it's bearish again. So I think it, oh my God, it was that way in August too. Look, August 1st was the low, and then we went up. What happened in July? July, okay, so the whole month of July was just bullish. You can't really use that propaganda because look, the full moon was here and we went up. So it's not perfect, but nothing is. Here it is again. The first week of April was bearish, then we went up. The first week of June is bearish. Sorry. The first week of March is bearish, and then we went up. I don't have a reason for that. I don't know. That's why I'm asking you guys. Why is that happening? We just keep crashing into the first week of the month, and then it turns bullish. Is it because of the options? Is it because of the full moon? Is it because of your blank's ass, as they would say? I'm being more professional now. Here it is again, for no reason at all. We just go down into the first week of the month, and then we go up again. Here it is again. You go down for no reason at all into the first week of the month, and then you go up again. Here it is again. You went straight down into the first week of August. It's just so bizarre. Here it is again. It's like, it's not every single time, but for some reason we're bearish into the first week of the month. So I'm going to assume that if you're Mr. Bear in the chat and you're looking for a mega crash, I have to respect that it's still possible because it is. But I'm also going to respect the fact that we keep bouncing after the first week of the month. So I'm going to assume that if we don't go down this week, it doesn't mean we can't go down, but it increases the probability that we're going up again. And the reason why it's so fascinating to me is because we can go down, which is fine. Then we'll get the bounce. And wherever that bounce ends, from there, we have to go down to the bottom. But if we don't get this, and we get the bounce now, from here, we have to go down to the bottom. But I'd rather go down to the bottom from 70K than from 58K. And the reason why it's so exciting to me and I'm getting happy, or not happy, but I'm getting optimistic, is because there's only 3 more months left. Gentlemen and the 2 ladies, there's 3 months of the bear market left. 4 months. Say it out loud. I have to survive 4 more months and then I can start making money. Some people are making money now, which is fine, but I'm referring to the general population. And the reason why I'm so obsessed is because Bitcoin is not going to go down there without the S&P 500. Which is why if we get this COVID crash, I'm going to be a stock guy. Because I'm sick and tired of buying Dookie Inu, getting rug pulled, and then saying, why do I have no money? And the jabronis in the chat would say, you only have no money because you only buy meme coins. Why don't you buy a coin with utility? All right, well, let's look at some utility coins. Sonic, 0. AVAX, 0. What's another shitcoin that... Oh my God, remember Polkadot? 0. What am I supposed to buy? Look at this. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Dude, this thing's going down as I'm talking. Dude, this thing's going down as I'm talking. Come on, man. Crypto sucks. Say it out loud. You need to buy in during the next 3 months. No, higher lows. You're incorrect. And I'm not telling you that you're incorrect because I disagree with you personally. I'm telling you you're incorrect because based on the scientific evidence that is presented on chain, this is undisputable. If you think it's different this time, that's fine. I'm not saying you're wrong for that. I'm just saying I disagree with you. Every single market cycle, we spend at least 100 days below the realized price. So if Bitcoin falls below the realized price next week, then yes, you're right. Over the next 3 to 4 months, you should technically be accumulating. But if we don't fall below the realized price until November or October, then I don't have to buy in until January or February. Now, if you're disagreeing with that, that's okay. You're disagreeing with the historical information. And that's the difference between this bear market and anything I've ever done on YouTube. I'm giving you guys unbiased information. I've always been a moon boy, so I've always been wrong because I want it to go up. This whole bear market, I've only given you historical context. Have I been perfect? Of course not. But I know I'm doing much better than I've ever done because this is the first bear market where I'm projected to finish with more money than I started. And the real on-chain data says we must spend X amount of days below the realized price. So if we don't fall below the realized price in the next 2 weeks, then we're not going to fall below the realized price until August or September. And because the bottom is projected to be in October or November, but we always spend 3 to 4 months below the realized price, if we don't fall below the realized price until September or October, then by mathematical equations on Bitcoin's on-chain indicators, we can't go up until January or February, which is 6 months from now. And the problem with garbage is Bitcoin bottoms in October, but the garbage doesn't. Bitcoin bottomed in November last time, and MSTR went down until January. It was bearish. Or maybe it was the last week of December. Coinbase was bearish until the very end. If you bought Coinbase when Bitcoin bottomed, you look at all this money you lost. Holy shit. Now, obviously, if you held it, you were fine, but you didn't really make any money either because it went right back to where it was. So the only thing that you can definitively buy is Bitcoin. Everything else is like gambling. But I'm also I don't know if I want to buy crypto. I really think I might go stocks this time. Because the saying was always stocks can't give you the returns that crypto does. Now we know that's bullshit. Yeah, I'll tell you what are the returns for crypto now? Let's take a look. Polkadot was supposed to be the parachain. That was the rubbish they came up with. Parachain. The Ethereum developer created Polkadot. If you bought Polkadot when Bitcoin bottomed, you're down 85%. Pitiful. You could have bought any stock when Bitcoin bottomed, and you'd be up right now. That's why I think I'm going to be a stock guy. Because even if I bought Meta when the S&P bottomed, I still got a 500% gain, which the old version of me would say that's not enough. But that's because I had no money. I had nothing. I don't have nothing right now. So 500% gain is life-changing. And the thing is, chat, if you take a shit and you don't sit at your computer, you don't lose all your money. You can sell the next week. When you're doing crypto, man, if you're taking a shit, you lose all your money. It's sick. I'm never going to forget this, man. You guys remember when I was live streaming one day? I lost $50,000 in 1 hour because they rugged Anita Max win. It's not even here anymore. I'm never going to forget that. They announced they want to do a token migration. And I said, "What the fudge?" It was in April. I said, "What the fudge, man?" Yeah, it was right here. Straight down. I had 1 million coins or whatever it was. I had 100,000 on it. Then I lost 50 grand in an hour. You know, like I'm tired of that. That's stupid. You can't lose that much money on Meta unless you have a lot of money. In order to lose 50 grand on Meta, you need to have 150,000 or whatever it is, which is fine. But here's the thing. if you don't sell Meta at the top and you say, you know what, I think I'm just going to hold it, even if you have to hold through this, it goes back up. If you didn't sell your win at the top, you're poor. You're poor. It just doesn't stop going down. So this is a little bit of a rant stream, but I'm trying to get you guys to understand, man, that crypto is not what it once was. And I see a lot of YouTubers pushing this bullish propaganda, and I'm telling you, man. And the thing is, like, some people some people can't lose the money. Like, I think the problem with a lot of YouTubers that are young, they're assuming that everyone's in their position. I used to make that same mistake too. I'm still a little young, but I'm getting old now. Like, some people are 40 with 3 kids, a wife. They want to put their kids through school. Some people are the wife. Some people are the mothers too. It's not just the men and the women, although it is heavily men dominated. There are women there that are there, but some people might be down to their last 5K and they have 3 kids they want to put through college, and there's a YouTuber telling them that they got to get in before the bottom is in and you miss the bull run. There is no bull run for this shit that they're pushing. It doesn't exist. And you have these people saying, yo, you just need 0.1 Bitcoin to be rich. Brother, you need 10 Bitcoin to be rich. At least 5 Bitcoin. Now, if you want to put your kids through school, you might only need 1 Bitcoin. But 1 Bitcoin is still a significant amount of money in general. But imagine if you have 3 or 4 kids you're trying to put through school, and they're telling them to buy in now because you're going to miss the bottom. And if you miss the bottom, you're an idiot. That's called brain rot. That's why I don't shield this shit anymore, because I know it's going to zero. It's literally going to zero. Every single, look at this shit. H bar 0, 0. Nah, maybe not 0. Look at Shiba, 0. And this was all the garbage that we were shilling. But I stopped shilling Dogecoin Mars back in the summer of 2024. I haven't shilled Dogecoin in like a year and a half now, because I know that shit's done. 0. Shiba Inu, 0. Luna Classic somehow is not at 0. I don't even know how that's possible. 0. I'm telling you right now, if we get this play, I think I'm going to be a stock guy. Now, for the sake of my YouTube channel, I'm always going to do crypto, because crypto is where the car salesmen are, and I'll always be a car salesman because I need my money to pay the bills. But I'm openly telling you I'm selling you car salesmen, and if you want to take it anyway, that's up to you. But, dude, we're about to go straight down. Look at this. Every time this shit happens, we're bearish. Dude, the market is telling you before we go down, we're going down. Every time. I just don't know. Look at Bitcoin Cash, another low. I just don't know if we're going to get a bounce first. That's my only concern. Are we going to get a bounce first? And I think it's possible, but I'd be doing you a disservice if I told you to get in before the bounce comes, because there's also a scenario where we just go straight down. But there's no scenario where we go like this. It's impossible. Everything says we're coming down here. The only reason why I think we could get a bounce is because of the Moonboy chart. And if you don't like the Moonboy chart, I would say the S&P 500 is trying to put a low in. I could be wrong about that, but I'm also looking for a COVID crash on the S&P too. So at some point it has to go down. But in order for Bitcoin to go down to the bottom, the S&P has to do something too. So and someone already pointed out in the chat, shout out to that guy, that July is typically the best month, or maybe it's not the best month, but it's typically a very, very good month for the S&P 500. If you just overlay June and July for the S&P, it's pretty bullish, right? You had, well, in 2024 it was bearish, of course, but it's not always perfect. But if you look at June, July of 2025, you can see it was primarily green. If you look at 2024, that was the bearish one. We had to crash in August. Obviously, that one was bearish. If we look at 2025, we did. 2023 was half bullish, half bearish. But again, it was bearish into October. So we're looking for a top in July, potentially. This one was, the top was in July. We're looking for the top to be in July and August, which that's what this was. The big crash was in August, and then we were bearish. In 2022, the top was in July, and then the crash was into August and October. So now 2 times in a row, you had top in August, crash into October. Top in August, crash into October. This one was, I don't know. Technically there was a top in July here, and the crash was in August, but this was a bull market. But still, you had a top in July and then a crash into August. It's very rare that you're crashing into July. That's the point. So it's like, we could, of course, but it looks like historically you're crashing in August. Right? July here was bullish. Here it is again. Crash in September, crash in October. You had 2019. Here it is again. You crashed in May. You were bullish into July. And then you crashed into August and September. 2019 and 2018, we were bullish the whole way through. Yeah, well, I guess you had a move down in, no, that's June. Yeah, you had a crash in June, July, August, crash in August again. Look. Well, maybe it was technically September, crash in September. So July is typically bullish. It looks like in 2017 it was neutral, like literally neutral. Here it is again, July's bullish. It's like the low is in June and then July turns bullish. So I'm not going to tell you that it can't happen. We could most definitely crash in August. There's nothing that says we have to go up in August. Sorry, July. We could crash in July. There's nothing that says we have to go up in July. But if you're placing your bets based on historical data, you have to live with the outcome that technically July is favored to be bullish. And because of what we said before, for some reason we bottom in the first week of the month. That's this week coming up. So if we're not going down this week, I don't think we're going down. But I do have to respect the possibility that we're going down this week. It's very likely. It's very possible. But if it's Friday and we're still here, I think the coast is clear. Whether it's the Moon Boy chart, whether it's the Moon chart, whether it's the options, whatever it is, I don't know. But you can choose that narrative. The Clarity Act, some people like the Clarity Act. Some people love the war news. Matthew Dropko loves the war news. Every day he's telling me peace deal, we're bullish. No peace deal, we're bearish. He loves that shit. Whatever your reason is, for some reason we always bottom in the first week of the month. It's not always, but it's around there. So I'm going to assume that if we're going down, we could go down. It's going to happen this week. If we're still here by the end of the week, it doesn't mean this can't happen. Of course it can. But I think the chances increase that we get a rally. And if God gives me this rally, thank you, Jesus. Sweet Jesus. Sweet coin and baby cards. What a ramble this guy just went on. I appreciate the 20 from higher lows. Yeah, I don't know why I went on like that for on and on and on. I just kept going and going and going. Well, I don't even know why I went on that long. What a ramble, huh? Could always diversify. Yeah, but that's the problem. What are we diversifying into? The crypto moon boy attitude has always been, let me buy in, and once it goes back to the high, I'll make all my money back. We don't know if it's going to go back to the high. We just learned that even the second largest cryptocurrency almost didn't make a new all-time high. When I see that, that tells me, dude, crypto's a scam. If you're telling me that if you don't buy Bitcoin, you might not make it, what kind of market is that? Imagine buying Ethereum at the low and you didn't even get your money back. And the thing is, your Bitcoin, if you don't sell, but you buy the bottom, you'll be all right. If you didn't sell your Ethereum, there's a chance you go underwater. That has never happened before. There's a real chance that we go below $1,000. I don't know because I'm not a TA guy. You're going to have to ask your favorite YouTuber. But if we're expecting Bitcoin to go to 40K, that's at least 30% from here, from today. And that means that if ETH BTC goes down at all, Ethereum is going to break the low. So a very dangerous game. Crypto sucks. It always sucked. Now we know it sucks. The question is, what are you going to do? And I don't know the answer yet. But what I do know is if we get a semiconductor capitulation, by default, the S&P will capitulate because the S&P and the semiconductors now have the same stocks. They're all semiconductors. NVIDIA, Avgo, Micron, AMD, Intel, LRCX, Cisco. They're not all semiconductors, but they're all Broadcom. They're all data centers, cloud storage, all Terminator scams. What is that? Skynet scams. NVIDIA. So I wish you all the best, man. Like I'm getting older now, and my brain is finally telling me like this is it now. So I wish you all the best, man. Life goes by so fast, and we've given up so much time to this shithole market, Scheisenhausen. But I'm not giving up. I think we got one more good run left in the tank. And that's why I get excited, because there's literally 3 months left. Oh, that's why I went on that dumbass ramble. Because somebody said I have to buy in the next 3 months. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think the bottom is in the next 3 months, which means we have more time to buy in. YJT says we're bottoming from what I'm hearing here. Vision thinks it's going to 0. I can't tell. This guy is bullish every day and then bearish another day. So I don't know how to respond to that, man. It would hurt to bet on semiconductors and they don't do what we expect. That's what I'm afraid of. Yes, but here's the thing, my friend. Everybody has a different game plan. I'm not buying the semiconductors and holding them forever. Every single market cycle, the semiconductors have done a 2x before Bitcoin moved. It's an undeniable fact. Well, actually, in 2015, that wasn't true. So if I can get a 2x on the semiconductors and then put that money into crypto, I'm already beating myself because I'm up 2x already. Higher low says a V-shaped recovery is the end. Yeah, so higher low is betting on something that has never happened before, and he's trying to troll me, which is fine. Again, I wish you guys the best. I do. Because at the end of the day, if you guys get millions of dollars or lose all of your money, my life doesn't get impacted. So I hope you guys do the best you can, and I hope you guys do good. But if higher low goes all in on MSTR and it goes to $10, my life is not affected. If he becomes a millionaire, my life is unaffected. Crypto is just getting started. I'm bearing today. Crypto is just getting started. I think that's going to do it for me today. This gentleman just said crypto is just getting started. My brother, somebody help him. Dude, it's up a bajillion%. What number is somebody tell me this number? 3,620,990. Oh, 3 million. No, 3 billion. 3,621,994,531%. Crypto is just getting started. Guys, you know what's really scary? There's going to be people that weren't even alive when Bitcoin came out talking about Bitcoin. Holy shit. Holy shit. I'm not even exaggerating. There's going to be people that were not even alive when it came out talking about how it's just getting started. Because think about it. If you're born in 2009, you're going to be 20 years old by the end of the next market cycle. Holy shit. Dude, there were little sperm cells talking about we're just getting started. The party is over, man. The party is over. I think we got one more good run left in the tank, though. I really do. I think we got one more run left in the tank. And that'll do it for today's live stream. Thank you for listening today, class. Even though you guys are not my class, my students. No, you're not my students. That would imply that I'm a teacher, and I'm not. I'm just a dude with a microphone that pretends to know what's going on. I'm just good at making it sound like I know what's going on. But that's all life is. You go to a car dealership, they sell you a piece of shit, but they convince you it's good. You go on YouTube, you're looking for some type of information. You're looking for the fitness guys. They're telling you to eat chicken, eat broccoli, eat eggs, and they leave out that they're injecting testosterone and steroids into their ass. But you believe them. That's all YouTube is. Make it sound like you know what you're doing, even if you don't, and you'll be all right. So, I don't know anything. I'm just giving you guys what I see. You got to do what's best for you. As always, stay safe. None of this is financial advice. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. Take care, and I'll see you soon.